everyone. This is Eric with the Cards and Comps YouTube channel. On this channel, we look at ways to travel more for less by combining credit card points and casino comps. And lately, these video poker Caesars Diamond in the Day videos have been doing really well, and I've had a lot of questions. So thank you for all the views and comments and questions. Keep them coming because this absolutely helps shape what I test next. And today we're looking at high variance, single hand, jacks or better, played at $25 denomination, which makes this $125 a hand. Okay, before we get into the play, I want to clear up a very important clarification that came up in the comments, and thank you for the person that pointed this out. So this is how Caesar status works. If you need 15,000 tier credits in order to get Caesar's Diamond, you need 25,000 tier credits in order to get Caesar's Diamond Plus. The minimum practical target for Diamond is actually 14,000 points, and I think I've mentioned 15,000 points, but since we're doing that in one day, that 1,400 points under this 10x multiplier becomes 14,000 points. And since we've earned 1,000 points in one day, we get a tier credit bonus for earning those 1,000 points in a single day. So that gives us a total of 15,000 points, and that gives us diamond status. So if you earn 2,500 tier credits in one day, you get a bonus of 5,000. So that works out as 2,500 times 10, and then you get a 5,000 point bonus. So that gives you a total of 30,000 points, which is more than you need for Caesar's Diamond Plus. That's actually what I did this beginning of this last year. Also, another question about the kiosk, and I guess this is for new players to Caesars. There's kiosks around the casinos. They're usually found by the rewards desk, and this is a picture of what they look like. Look for them. There's two different machines. One's for reprinting cards, but another one is just for doing rewards. And you swap your card. You'll need to make sure you have your PIN established and such. And then you go through and you look at the promotions and then make sure that Diamond in the Day, or that 10x multiplier rather, is available, and then you select it. So now let's talk about single hand jacks or better, because it is a little different from what we've been doing. And this is not my first choice, but I definitely wanted to test it out since I was asked about this. So there's fewer hands per hour, and there's going to be bigger swings. And that being that oftentimes when you make a choice, there's going to be no payout. So when we, for example, in contrast, when we do the 100 hand jacks or better, when we get hardly, the lowest return we're going to get is about 30% of our bet back each time. So a $125 bet, we always get 30% back at least. And then, so it makes the variation a little bit less. There's not going to be a time that we're selecting and getting no money back. So that's what we definitely want to avoid. So there's bigger swings and there's higher variance, and at $125 a hand, the math can turn on you quickly, even if you're playing perfect strategy. And by the way, when we're doing this simulation, it's correcting us before we make the mistake. So we're always playing, in these situations, perfect strategy. When we're at the casino and we're doing this challenge, there's not going to be any warning at all. So you need to make sure you have the strategy down pat. What I want to do now is walk through it like we've done before, and I'll show you what's going on. First of all, if you start at our website, cardsandcomps.com, that'll be the easy way to go through and find these links. The first website I usually depend on is this BP Free 2. And today we're looking for jacks or better, and there's all these irritating commercials. I really don't like that. But what we're looking for is a really good jacks or better game that we can play at $25 a hand. And I've already scouted one out at Caesar's Palace. It's in the high limit slot room. And there's jacks or better. It's for $25. This is the game we're looking at. If you look at Caesar's Palace, they give us more details on it, and we can look at it. Here it is, jacks or better, 99.54%. Now, if you notice, this is a better expected valuation than it is that we were playing with the 100 hand play. So that's in our favor. But anyway, getting back to this, we want to make sure that the 9 to 6 number is correct, because that's going to determine this 99.54. So you want to look at that and look for these machines, each machines. We're going to be looking at $125 per hand. So we're expecting to get 12.5 points. And then I think it'll show 12 on there. However, when we have the second bet, it should be 25. So definitely look at that. If that's not the case, you want to switch game plans and go to something else, because $25 a point, then this is not going to work for that. So here it is. It shows exactly what the machines are and what the denomination is. So that being known, we're looking at 99.54. Then if you follow the links on Cards or Comp to videopoker.com, and this is an affiliate link, by the way, it helps out our channel. So if you want to support the channel, please click the link. It doesn't cost you anything, but it definitely helps us out. So, all right, after you get at videopoker.com and you're signed in, I've got a pro session here, a pro training. So that's how I play. You can play for free, but the pro training seems to have a much better way at how it coaches you. And I really like that. I do like play video poker, but this is the time I'm really serious and we're going through in training. So anyway, we're going to do a new session. We're going to select the game. We've already decided it's going to be the classic single game. It's going to be jacks or better. And we're going to select the pay table of 9 to 6, 99.54, which is what we looked at. Now, I noticed that they don't have a $25 denomination like they do in the casino. So what we're going to do is do 1/10 of that. No, 1/100th of that. So we're going to do 25 cents and $30. That's 1/100th of that. If you multiply 30 times 100, we'll get 3,000. 25 cents times 100 to give you $25. So that's going to give us the same. We just have to do the simple math of moving the decimal. So here we are. Here's our game. We want to make sure we turn off dynamic replay because we want just random set of hands to give us an idea how we're doing. And if this is a method we're training, we're making sure we know the correct strategy. And two, what's the possibilities of us going broke if we bring $3,000? And that's what I'm looking at. I'm valuing this at $2,000. I'm willing to spend a little bit more in order to get there. If I'm 90% of the way there, I want to make sure I go ahead and get the prize. So here we go. Jacks are better. And here we are. So imagine taking a decimal point away, and that's $3,000. We want to bet max on this first bet. That's going to be betting all 5 hands. And this gives us, the only difference is the royal flush. If we get the royal flush, we want to get the maximum payout. And that's the only way we're going to achieve the actual payout, the expected valuation of what we've got. Turn the volume down a little bit, and then we should actually go through this pretty quick. I'm going to go through it and play 100 hands, and then if we look at it that way, it's half of what needs to be done for 2 sessions that we need to get Caesar's Diamond Plus, but 120 hands is what we need in order to get where we need to for just Caesar's Diamond, the base level, not the plus. So let's get started and see how we go here. All right, so positive, which is nice, that we just broke even. But every time we hear that ding, we know that, and that was a whiff. So we zero and we went down the money. So by the way, now this is the time, as soon as you made the bet, you need to look at your points to make sure they've incremented appropriately. If they haven't, then you need to change your plan. I've got 3 of a kind already. And see if we could get 4 or a full house would be awesome. So now we're up $125 if we take the decimal point out. So anyway, let's get started. This is hand 3 here. We got 4 spades. Oh, you're very fortunate already. So you can see that was up $700 already, which is awesome. And of course, we can get opportunities here where we play and get nothing. And those, each time we get nothing, that's $125. So I will have some commentary about what my plan is at the 10X event. And make sure we got this right. Yeah, that's right. Because I don't want to make any mistakes. I want to make sure, especially when I'm playing in Las Vegas, that I'm confident that I'm making the right move. And if you want to go for strategy as one of these sessions, as we certainly can, I guess. A lot of it is sort of intuitive. You know, you always pick a pair, the EV for that. up here is definitely much higher than almost everything else. We got another 3 of a kind again, so we're up $500 at this point, and we're only on hand 12. Okay, we could always like to hear that sound, which is nice, meaning that I've got a hand. And also, I wanted to bring out another point. When you hear that sound, it's good to look and see what's flashing up here and just make sure that you don't miss a 2 pair. And you definitely don't want to do that. So that's something easy to miss. If you don't look at it immediately and recognize what the hand is, you probably should look up here and see what's flashing to make sure that you're not making a mistake, because these are big mistakes at $125 a hand. So, and another 3 of a kind. So if we could get a 4 of a kind or a full house, it would really not be nice. So very fortunate. That's definitely doesn't always happen. I can tell you on the ones that I did very well on, and I'll go through the numbers, and actually I'll probably pin it to the comments to this video of how I'm doing with these sessions, because I want to evaluate and have a good idea. I'm trying to think at the same time. Have a good idea of what my expectation is of how much I'm risking in this session and what's my potential win. And actually, the way I've got these set up, when I do 2 sessions at a time, if you look at your 2 lowest sessions, that's probably a pretty good representation, especially if you've done 20 or 30 sessions of what you actually can happen. Of course, it can always be worse than that. It can always be better. So just keep that in mind. Oh, and I made this straight too. So those are big swings, and the odds of making it straight, of course, it's an open-ended straight, but the odds of making it obviously is, I don't know right off the top of my head, but it's not probable. And of course, we're having a few up here in 9, 10, 2. So we want to hear that, get the pairs, those are, and we want to 3, 4, 5, 6. We got another open-ended. We like to hear that sound because, and I was making sure not 2 pairs, just kings. Of course, when you're practicing, it'll tell you if you make the mistake, so it'll catch you. And you can see we're already back down to, we were at 3,000 because we're covering up our decimal point here. And we're in the middle of a hand right now, so, and we got 9, so hopefully we can make something out of that. So you can see we're quickly, even with those fortunate wins, we're below where we started at 28 hands, so we've got still a good ways to go. Oh, wow, another 3 kind. That is awesome. Very fortunate. Another when we like to just hear that. So this looks like and it's nice to pull those out when we have one high card, not a very good hand. The EV on that is very low. I'll have to look at one of these here. And that turned out to be it turned out to be 2 pair, but of course, if you only get, when you got a pair like that, jacks are better, you're only going to get your bet back. So it does get you one more deal closer to your goal, but you're not making any money. You're just holding steady. So we got 2s. Oh, wow. Look at that. It's natural straight. So we're at 3,250. Let's see where this takes us. We'll make sure we got them all held. Wow. So that's 20 times $25. So that's really nice. Then a pair of jacks. That's awesome. And turning to a 3 of a kind, we're up $1,100 right now. 2, 3, 4, 6, 7. So it's open-ended, and got 2s. Oh, wow. So I always like to look at this too, just to make sure there's not something else like a 4 to a royal flush. We'd want to definitely do something about that, but obviously just did keep the kings there, and only 1 king there, and we're at hand 43. Nothing. King. So I think we do keep the spades. So I'm going to say when you have a gut shot to a Broadway draw, you're supposed to take that. I think if it's rainbow, if it's not all the same suit. So you do take that. So I made a mistake. You do take that even if there's two of the same suit there. And I need to make a mental note. 6, 7, 8, 9, open in a straight draw. 2 to a royal. All right, we're at hand 50. I usually look at these after 100 hands because it's sort of halfway, and then 120 hands. So we'll go to at least 120 hands, which will get us to diamond, the base diamond level. All right, you can see we're back down to 3,000. We were up over 1,000 and we've lost that already. The struggle is real. All right, we just need some help to hook. That looked pretty, but it's nothing special, just a pair. Need some help with that. Threes. There we go. King. Pair of queens. That's good. We need help. Hey, we got some help. There we go. Back to $3,250. So that's good. We're 61 hands in. So we got ace, king, jack, queen. So this is a gut shot Broadway draw, and that's correct hold. But obviously, the opportunity for that to not get anything is entirely possible. All right, pair of tens. There we go. Another gut shot Broadway draw. 9, 10, king. That's just king, jack. Oh, I made a mistake. So I guess, yeah, so there's a possibility for a straight flush draw in that situation. So I need to make a note of that. And there's a pair, but there's also a potential straight flush draw. We can have three of a kind, thank goodness. So that we're at $2,500 right now. That almost got us back to even. Four hearts. I did not notice that. Going too fast. And like I said before, when I'm actually playing, I'm going to go a little slower than this and think about, make sure I don't make any mistakes, especially like the flush mistakes. That would be tragic. Three of a kind. So I did look up here and see the flashing three of a kind. I did not notice this other two. That would be horrible to miss that on the real game. So, and if we get another two here, it would be a big win, by the way. So on a couple of my sessions, I've had four of a kind, which is super nice. All right, let's see. Yeah, there's some of these rules here about the two to a royal flush and keeping the high card. I think I need to look that up because I've made a couple mistakes. I don't think the mistakes are huge. And I guess next time it comes up, I'll look at the EV so we can understand it. For me, it's hard to memorize all these things, but trying to understand the logic behind it makes the most sense. All right, let's see. Let's see where we're at. 77 hands. Oh, man. That's exactly what I was talking about. So the queen 10, the next best hold, the ace queen, which is what I've got, it's very marginal. 2.372 is the EV as compared to 2.432. However, my goal is still, since I'm not psychic, is to go through and play the best odds. So that's what I need to do. And I guess I need to see exactly what the rule is for that. I know it has something to do with the gap with the 10 and stuff, but anyway, rule. Well, I wish I kept the ace because we got two more aces. And that would have been three of a kind. But we still want to do what's the best on the odds because you don't know what's going to happen. Just like when you play poker, whether you make the flush or not, you want to make the best play based on the odds and what you can do. So we got, I think we just play these two. Yeah. Tired of making mistakes on camera, but that's just how it is. And I got 3 hearts, a lot of red, just 1 jack. Okay. And you can see we're down to 2,250. So we're actually down $750 at this point, and we're at hand 70 or 81. Just the ace. I was very fortunate to get 3 queens on that. Wow. We need some more of that. All right. So 4 hearts. Let's see if we can get the heart. Yeah, we did. That pays well. So we're back up to 3,100 and 3125 right now. So that's amazing. And we're at hand 83. So 17 more hands. We got 3s. No help. No help here. There we go. 2s. 3 of a kind. All right, we need extra 9. Oh, that's still good. 4s. Oh, just the queen. I got some help there. All right, so we're at 92, 8 more hands. And then we'll evaluate, and we're going to still play to 120. Just 2, 3, queen. Oh, 2 pair. We love 2 pair. It always pays, and there's some additional upside. Haven't got many 2 pair in this one. That's a little unusual. There we go. Oh, so we got 3 to a royal flush or a pair of aces. The aces are going to pay. I think the aces are the choice, but I'm going to pick the 3 to the royal and see what it says. Look at the EV here. 6.711 is what I chose, the 3 to the royal flush. It's just really good to know that it is significant, the ace, and if you play that 1,000,000 times, the aces are going to win out, even when for the few royal flushes that you get. We'll make that correction. I'm going to make that note. So anyway, we're back to 3,000. So let me make notes here. So this is at hand 100. I'm at 2,875. And that's 100 hands. So that's what I do. I keep notes on all this. But let's go ahead and do 120 hands, and then we'll see where that ends up at. So we got 3s here. I almost overlooked them. And of course, like I said, they're not forgiving in the casino when that happens. But here, it'll warn you, which is nice. All right, 3s again. We need these 3s to show up. Okay, that's good. But we need some help. So we're already down to 2,500, and we got just 16 more hands to go. I am playing perfect, being that it's telling me before I make the mistakes. So the outcome I'm getting on the machine is the perfect response, if that makes sense. It's embarrassing to make the mistakes. Although I'm trying to go through this fairly quick, so that's my excuse. I'll see if I can find a good cheat sheet to carry and print off and bring, because it'd be nice if you have an important thing like maybe if you got a 4 to a royal flush and you got 2 aces showing. I think you take the 4 to the royal flush in that situation. But it'd be something good to know to understand. You don't want to look up every hand, but if you got, I mean, it's $125 a hand. You definitely want to be right. So we've had a number, as you can see, we're 112. We got 8 more hands, and we're down $1,000 from where we were just a few hands ago. So very distraught. 2, 3, 4, 6, 7. So this is not enough for a straight flush. So this is just a redraw. If those were closer together where there's a 2 gap or whatever, and you could have a possibility of a straight flush, you would choose that, I believe. So, oh, and I guess we're already ready for deal. We needed some big wins here to bring this one out. Needed that. Need some help on this one. Nice. Threes again. Come on, threes. Hey, we got some help. So it's going to help it out. We got 2 more hands. 4 hearts. So we need a heart. And I think this is the last hand. Oh, okay. So here we go. 120 hands. We got enough now to make diamond, not diamond plus. And we ended up with 1,875. It's exactly $1,000 less with those 20 hands. So that tells you something. That's how big the variation is. It's sort of crazy. So now you've seen how this plays out. I want to be very clear about my own experience. So in one of my test sessions using this exact same setup, I busted out the $3,000 bankroll. So because of this, I think this is the method I will not use in the casino. It is unacceptable for me to have that big a possibility of busting out my bankroll for this privilege, for this diamond, to achieve diamond status. So that's not my goal. I want to go through and worst case scenario, lose 2,000. And then if I'm 90% of the way there and it's just a bad variation, I want to make sure I get there. I definitely don't want to go in 20 hands, 30 hands and bust out and then also not get diamond, Caesar's diamond levels. So that being the case, right now, spin poker or 100 hand poker is going to be my method. Tell me what you think in the discussion below, or I'd love to hear what you have to think about it and what you're planning on doing. I did have a number of people ask about single hand jacks are better. And you could play longer on a lower denomination machine. However, generally the odds on those machines are not as good. You're not going to find the 99.45 or whatever this was as an option. So just keep that in mind. For full transparency, I'm going to pin a comment and show you the actual outcomes, including this session here. So please take a look out for that. And always, thank you again for your questions and discussions. Keep them up. If you want to see more content like this, let me know what you want to see. I really enjoy playing blackjack, and that's usually what I go to. However, I think earning points for blackjack, it's a much more fuzzy math, and it's hard to get the information to know where you've got enough points to get there. So anyway, so I haven't been using blackjack in order to this 10x multiplier for the tier session, but that's something I want to do. But anyway, I do have a really good blackjack method, and we'll go over training for blackjack. If you're interested in doing that, I would be happy to share that with everybody. And if you got any other questions or comments about cruises or other stuff that's coming up, let me know. I've got a whole bunch of cruises planned this year, and they're all casino comped cruises. And it's I got some transatlantic cruises. I've got some European cruises. Got a number of things. So anyway, it's really exciting. I'm looking forward to it. As always, thanks again for your questions and discussions. I really do appreciate it. Which video poker variation would you like to see next? So, and remember, hey, so links to videopoker.com and VP Free 2 are in the description, and they're also in cardsandcomps.com. And there's also 2 or 3 other Diamond in a Day videos if you're really interested in this content. So, all right, I appreciate it, and I'll see you next time. Thanks again.